feces, you know. So, in other words, if you were able to interference complete from the interior of the room, the gap is not in the absolute to escape the criminal. Nevertheless, in the room is left only corpses of the victims. The figure of the criminal, it is a guy that does not appear. Since ancient times, various criminal, this behind closed doors have thought the newcomer. 100 species there is a method close to, but, are you my treasured is? Never yet was once thought everyone it is a newcomer. I cheat mon in the 5 million yen. However, I'll teach. Somehow, because Anta has become like. Thank you. By all means please let me know. Where's on? Small man's face was broken smile very much like good old man. It isn't it? Is just now. I built a study of denominated brick. This is 2 more. Can be in 3 days. I will provide it, of course. But just to let temporarily become the scene of murder it is. After cannot be used. This construction costs is taking 3 million yen. This I is separately spending its actual expenses. It would be nice. Quote, 3 million yen, then. It will be that thanks 8 million yen in total. It is a bit high. Is there any more cheap building? Ah ha 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 ha. Not a story to buy a house. That if it is not my study. Successfully squid not you. I see that will be described. But first I got a reward earlier. My sale is form without wisdom that you sow. Is it ended up talking to earlier? Not a deal. I would like to prepare for one. Remuneration even if not today. Quote, it is the other. We have prepared properly. That you are said to do so. Because I knew. However, because of here had been decided in 5 million. There is only that much of a check. While the small man is so good. Put a big wallet from the inside pocket. Extracted a piece of the check. It is not in my drawing board. Because a check of the Tokyo branch office addressed from a large bank. It is not supposed to will allow a mistake. Because you will be given the time being only this. Please let the guy that it's a good idea. A balance 3 millions. Will pay carefully before embarking on execution. Kageotoko has received the check from a little study. It was housed in the inside pocket. 1. Trust Anta. You decided to teach. Refuse leave, but it is the advantage of the things that behind closed doors. And from the context judgment. Even if there is no matter how suspicious person. It is not possible to punish it. Lies in the fact that behind closed doors of mystery can do nothing until solved. So, if behind closed doors even configuration that cannot be solved absolutely, it's become a perfect crime. Okay either. And, believe me guy as the newcomer no Lewis in crime histories of behind closed doors not be solved. Absolutely. I like this away. Quote, Kageotoko went on talking then about 20 minutes. Although small man Sahara had been listening attentively to it. And completely finished listening. Hitato hit the knee. Unfortunately, I see. I was thinking. I is the name trick of really innovative wacky. If this. Dad any detective. You do not have Wakariko. Thank you. By the way, how it will be when to run. Quote, the other buildings are you finished? The earlier is all right. And it is where is that of your brick denominated study? It's near the Roka Park on the edge of Edogawa. Once, it is what you want to the preview. 1. So please ask out of my do-good around 8 o'clock at night. Edogawa of the day after tomorrow. In that time, would have entered well as study of the furniture. Saying, I taught the directions to the home. Now, let's do that. No, thanks. Eagle also is relieved. After all, Anta help centers mon much. Such as good idea did not think that would allow. Sahara while raising praised. In the double suicide was out the tongue of the tongue. This man, not even know myself be killed. Told me the means of the perfect crime. I ate a lot also expected of wisdom person. Better of me is the dwarf's actors on a single. Was not gloating. Sahara has already defeated the Changji and Miyoko Kawanami Shinoda poison smoke. had gotten rice coating the corpse in a small base yaw. The better played successfully purpose remained Kageotoko is, I thought, my intractable very hand, using the advantage of the fact, when I borrowed the wisdom of murder method to sacrifice themselves, succeeded. The surprise out of courage is fairly. The other party is a little also noticed it not. Taught me a good way. Yatsuzen also zongai sweet looks mon. Sahara in confidence about bursting a small body. It was decided that day to return the time being, to return the boat to Funiata. Also after you've done a lot, parted and promised the day after tomorrow. Kageotoko is for this small man. Will had been zapped well. Kusimo know each other with a back-to-back. Dat towards the Kageotoko, nor might have any secret plan or available. Compared this cunning, to obtain a final victory, or whether in the two, you are now the victims. Then 8 o'clock afternoon after 2 days. Sahara is as promised. I asked the hideout of Kageotoko close to Roka Park. Kageotoko is to raise the Sahara toward between the Japan of the main house. Was recommended a whiskey that had been put on top of the low dining table. Welcomed himself master also to the front door. Even after forever, it made also student also does not appear. Out throughout is quiet a scene. It felt like being evening like autumn home. I do not have anyone. I did not have not tried with listening. When you stay in Bokugakoko is, how can bring the servants? So I thought I'd better tonight that not even such a person came with me alone. I was waiting for you. While Spear Futari sipped the whiskey. After you have talked for some time, it has become more and more able to saw a brick of the study of the garden. The story of this period, but I theory is well understood. It if does not keep looking after all hit the field. Small man of Sahara stood up to say so. The two of you have a flashlight. I went out into the dark garden, walking in the groves, such as the forest, close to the strange brick denominated in that back. In about 30 minutes, Kageotoko has walked the inside and the outside of the building. It has been described in detail. I was well understood. It really bizarre trick? It if is all right. Giving the appearance surely do well. Sahara will understand and accept the any, Arsagi. When you have carried out the Kenbun, it had been on the other 9 o'clock. The two of the in the woods, which was overgrown with dense, began Hikeshi toward the main house, because all around is a lonely place, to only just standing street lights in the distance. What of light without any? Not hear the horn of the car. Was feeling like walking like even in the mountains. Do I somehow strange? Until now, I have not heard it even once. Sagawa Shunde of Kageotoko is what is the mutter as I remembered was heard. For example, did you say? Was what you said. The man, hell, it's what person. What that person? Persons your company has been asked the person is to be killed, in other words. Oh, do that. I but forgot to eagle also referred to, is really a terrible opponent. When it comes to cunning, I would first invincible. The man, several had a name, like garble to another person. Such as not imagine, is working evil. Well, it is malicious extortion. Just amazing that illegal money is good. Besides, it has bashi, bodied be indeed, was still caught even once it is a guy that there is no anta. That person is I garbled even a novelist. Small man of Sahara is chuckled in the darkness. For good sake, is it SS not like exactly like me? Kageotoko was stopped as I was surprised. Come to think of it, I see, it looks just like. He keeps, which is also strange things. In, we called what is the name? There is a lot of name. Hayami Shokichi, Seiji Watanuki. Then Sagawa Shunde. When listening to it, was the attitude to of Kageotoko as flying the package. That is whether the man you are trying to kill. It's right, because the victims of this time of the incident use of the. When I think or say, Sahara was poised out a pistol from his pocket. Oh, it gonna regret to kill me Sue. LL terrible things happen Sue. Kageotoko, while scorching to step back, I cried his tail off. Wahahaha. I'm no good. I was Odakashi. You san? Do not even know that he is killed. I'm in or not. You taught me the way of the perfect crime. My scheming. Or not, you did not notice any. Or not, Nan. Ready. Come on. Ready syrups. When I think was a sharp sound like ripping the air. The body of Kageotoko had fallen suddenly on the ground. Sahara remains was holding a pistol. Stared. But Kageotoko does not move even a little. Well, the breath was extinct in one shot. Sahara's braille a flashlight, but went close to the corpse, and illuminate the face of Kageotoko. The round light of the lamp fell on back. Involuntarily, become shaken, you drew back. Tom of the pistol wang the face, because one side face has been covered with a red liquid that was mushy. Had hesitated for a while. That you do not shed light on the face. It was also approached. Then, squatting beside the corpse, I tried to place your hand on the chest. Beating had stopped. I tried holding the right hand neck just to be sure. But there is also the pulse was not at all. I wish he keeps disappointing. Truly the villain also. This Odabutsu either. Oofufufu. Well, to be get started in the future according to you of your orders. Not be punished absolutely means. Sahara, the corpse is left as it is. Turned back to the main house. It was make a phone call to anywhere. Then, when locating a piece of the throne from selfish origin, have it. I walked into the forest to move the corpse. Covered it. It is because the stash covered. Then after about 10 minutes, one man came into the front door of the main house. One of the executives of murder companies. Waiting to close. I was waiting for a phone call of Sahara, the man of about 40, with a tall skinny man, had a dress like deliberately workers. Sahara is out to meet the man. After you had whispered for a while, for where two owners, and disappears in a forest of dark garden. But in order to begin the work of behind closed doors configuration, then, the two of a round of denominated brick study, until near dawn, and something rumble, was working frequently, behind closed doors of mystery. Sahara's noon 2 days later was shot and killed Kageotoko, to alternating close to Roka Park station of KO train. A strange old man half crowded ran. It is very eagle of the husband has been killed, to face full of wrinkles that was burnt on the day, and Hayashi a white mustache and beard. Clothes too, such as was popular in the 3 decades ago. Black Sunsaru tin suit, dirty shirt is wearing, but not even tie. Small guarana like a child, but old man as shriveled. Alternation of the policeman, while staring the figure of the old man. It was reflective listening suspiciously. I was killed, but where? And, because you of my husband, I'm exactly where who of. My husband Sagawa of Osan times address. Is a novelist. The Shunde Eagle is something that Taniguchi that is used for many years therein. My husband will change once. In the garden of the forest. Made a study of the brick denominated Te. But yeah, I began to work in the. It is. From the day before yesterday. It crowded out of the study. My husband. Because yeah, things changes say even now. When entered into the study. And ye also eat rice. There often are hold up throughout the day. So, although the eagle also had been one day yesterday, it crowded out even in the morning. Even at 10 o'clock. It crowded out even at 10 o'clock scratch. Because I thought this is a very much strange. Tried to peek over the ladder on the back of the window of the study. Then, what s? My husband has fallen Bakaki on top of the carpet. Jame lying face down, but yeah, how the blood is flowing in the face. Even watching forever. Hamstrung does not. Jaws is dead. Eagle thought I ascertain entered into the study. However, it takes the key from the middle to the entrance of the door. From S sturdy door. Does Dicky also spotted tearing it? The window is only one without. Iron joint stock is addicted to it. Jaws not anyway be in the eagle of force. Please come to see in a hurry. Quote. and hear a description of the old man. Police officers of the alternating also was not suspected anymore. Keep in contact the police headquarters immediately on the phone. Rushed to the scene along with the old man. Late a little. Brought a competent police chief officer of himself. Several people came in a car. Is surrounded by groves, such as the forest of a large garden. Old-fashioned brick denominated stood lonely. Pointy slate weapon of the roof, such as a hat, is only one without a thing called window. You are fit iron enshrinement, like a mysterious building, such as a prison. It would breadth in about 10 square meters, since it takes the key from the only one of the inlet and outlet of the door of the front. Also chief and officer. Old man is climbing a ladder that had been subjected to high back window. Tried to peek inside from the window. As it says, the old man, lying face down is one man. The cuckoo is. Do not think only the dead. Looking at the front of the door from the window. This also would be a strict lock. The door of what? White iron yoke width is afflicted to solidly on the inside. Now even if there is a key, I cannot open up very door, and the unexpected may have the earlier broke the window of the iron enshrinement. But I look good, which also have can badly rugged, can do nothing. Also back in front of the entrance of the front. But policemen have tried to break the door per body, which was also found that there is no prospect at all, with a thick wooden doors. The pivotal points are nailed the iron plate. It looks like there is no or stands still. Chief asks to Taniguchi. Old man. Yes. 3 to be started using yet. Will not be only 4 days. And, because the other thing happens. Even if the stop much that eagle direction was bad. My husband is not applied also to the ear. At last had built. View is good. Sure enough. Yeah, this settlement. Quote. Old man Mizuru spilled bluntly to Butsukusa. I do have long been used in the individual master. Yes, you will more than 10 years. Eagle of the master in the mysterious person. Several now have a name. It is in residence also Grenard. Occupation of my husband? It, Jaws do not know Tonto and Eagle. Well, because it is son of the rich. And a lot luxurious living. And I think that you are around and play. So, look to do something manual kimono. Ya was built as such a study for its. That's the person who has changed HMPH. Compelling. This building is likely that window if there is only one such tiny as. It's pitch black in the room. This strict interference is a movement of the entrance door. Heck, what so, but for this kind of precaution. This includes something I would are also placed as it abuses important. Quote, I do know Eagle may be nanty important things. Just nothing, if any. This is put just a little of this lock. The door was strictly as not such a thing. My husband is when you are studying someone come in. Was ya terrible hate. So, only multiplied by the key because the mind sorry. I was to put up big bolt. The eagle does not know the feeling of the master. Something because apparently the enemy there were many and there also seem to have been scared. Husband. No. The eagle does know. Is very cautious because my husband from time to time such a thing often. Enemy was going to iron. Barred windows also. It's not that was attached to the small what kind of girl. Since the old man did not know nothing more. We decided to investigate the room to somehow break the door. Chief was strained, called the work nurses, ordered his subordinates. Young work Rev came doing in Katsui a large hanging arrow. Door is broken in this over arrow. Chief, we were able to examine the room. The victim is beaten in the face with a pistol. Face throughout had been dyed bright red. Not moved. The corpse was examined, not bare indoor. The key of the door is hung from. The yoke was also suffering from complete. The key was put on top of the desk. Iron bar, which partnered in the aspect of one of the windows just as if there is fitted in the deep window frame concrete, was not observed any abnormalities. Glass doors is sealed inside the iron combined and shackle it takes. The wall is a thick brick. Stucco is painted on the side of the room. oak wainscot that had been struck. Also floor to ceiling. Point to wonder was not at all. It is behind closed doors of complete integrity. To the place that is so. The people of the Metropolitan Police Department of Investigation Division, which has received a report from the police headquarters, and the forensics department has arrived in a car. Re-examined in the room it is carried out. Indoor and outdoor photos were taken. After the medical staff of the forensic department has been screening the victim, who carried to the time being towards the main house, to the victims has been done in the pistol. The pistol is not found in the room. It had no possibility of driving a pistol from the outdoor. The only window is sealed glass door. You get no scars on the glass. Then, criminal not well considered and shot the victim in the room. But whether the criminal went out from anywhere, such gap was not anywhere. The clerk of the forensic department had a knowledge of the closed door configuration. It was acquainted to various tricks performed through keyholes in the door. However, if you look, the door of this building is possible to perform such tricks. It has been found that cannot be absolute, ordinary door, so that it can be opened and closed in the same key from the outside, but something keyhole extending through the door, where the door had become a special structure. The keyholes from the keyhole and the outside from the inside. It made separately, both without penetrating the door, who previously had been occupied. The key itself is also the inside of and outside of the door, and all form was different. Structure this oddball of the victim, and was afraid to be selfish to open the door from the outside with a key fit, and the other one, in order to avoid being looked into the keyhole. That this kind of inside and outside separate keyhole it will be those who come up with. The trick of the door is not only the keyhole, but I cannot if there is no gap at the bottom of the door. There was no such gap as here of the door. Both the upper and lower left and right of the door. Perfect been able to as comb reading outside framin'. I do not even enough of a gap through the thin silk thread. People just forgo face. No matter how considered, it was not possible to solve the mystery of this behind closed doors. So, we decided to be dissected, somehow sent a victim to the hospital. Mortal wound also is not known, and through gunshot wounds of the head from the face. In such bizarre incidents, was customary for the time being dissection procedures. Before long, the ambulance is called, but corpse was carried away. The same in Hakichigai, strange one manas, toward the garden that have gathered of everyone, have said this thing, glasses, 35 with a dark mustache, but a fine gentleman of 6 years old, victims of friends, anything because I thought I might have been asked not know. One of the policemen, multiplied by the voice closer to the better, who is, now angry serious incident, as you can see, I have taken. I think that Tosaku Matsushita living in this neighborhood, profession is a lawyer. It is not anything even know the individual husband. In fact, a little while ago, worked nurses in and out of Sakuzo is, came to one of the Eagle. I went talking about the murder. Being asked to you, is that the man who broke the door with an arrow over? According to any of the story, the room that had fallen victims, from the inside completely interference is not made. It is that it does not know how to fled the culprit. In other words, would mean that behind closed doors incident. About it, I so little I wanted to put in your ear my thinking. Quote, the policeman heard it, go to the other side. Omodata people and of the Metropolitan Police Department, such as the competent police chief, but was told the purpose of a visit of Mr. Matsushita as a fine gentleman, because the profession say that it is a lawyer. Anyway, it was supposed to be let's listen to the story. Well, there is what kind of talk? Chief asked closer to Mr. Matsushita. Other police officers have also been gathered there. Grandfather Taniguchi, that servant of Sagawa Shunde, and it was also mixed. Gentleman that Matsushita, standing in the middle of a circle made of everyone, such as in like a lecture, began to talk in a tone that was pretentious. the thing called I behind closed doors of the crime. We are somewhat research on a daily basis by the story of Sakuzo. Behind closed doors of the incident we are also found in more detail whether it is what kind of things. So, for the mystery of this behind closed doors, you for reference, I would like to sincerely my opinion. In fact, is why I've been purposely demui this building. That trick to mount the door is completely non-structure. Also, if you are addicted is also a complete iron enshrinement in the window. We have also found in it that there is no room for applying the measures. Then, whether the culprit was exactly from where it is possible to go outside. It is a problem that this is a given. However, in the United States, there is a criminal that was figured out to build a behind closed doors without any relation to the window in the door. It is a roof. The rungs of the roof, raised above by the force of the jack. It makes a gap that can be human alone out there. Then, after leaving because I keep is the original. Not a little notice. The behind closed doors trick? Is there such newcomer? And hear it? Omodata, one of the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department Crime Lab Division. Across the mouth instinctively. However, we ceiling of that study is firm coated with white plaster. Do not break the plaster is not deki go out to the absolute. And, is not thereafter broken any in the plaster. Gentlemen, that Matsushita is not making noise even a little, in response to it. Okay, however, I'm the culprit of this incident. It does not mean that I say that it has entered out of the roof. The fact that there is also such unusual example is up in talk. Speaking of the roof, a more whimsical there is criminal that uses a hand to Japan. With 5, is that of 6 years ago. In the countryside of Yamagata Prefecture, a small house roof over the rope of a large oak that stretched the thick branches on top of the house several trees with a vise and lift up the entire roof, escaped from the gap. The roof that keeps Matamoto. There was a criminal that was doing things that were enigmatic differences care. However, this is also is that of 5 years ago. But this time in the United States, it is their guy who came up with the bizarre trick Joetsu. The man killed people in some open field, then, meaning to pretend it an impossible crime. That is, because I always holds true physical alibi of the offender if so. In order that, on top of the corpse of the open field, one housing one of the overnight I built a house. Also window in the door. For I keep over the key. And then was nailed a board wall from inside. That way behind closed doors of the mystery is finished. The criminal rather than from the door and windows. We were in and out from the wall. And I was struck the plate wall from the outside. No way. From keep killing people. That on the Nanti build a house. Because no one imagined. How about, this story is either not be your reference of this time of the incident. Quote, at that time, a mix in the cops. Taniguchi had heard this story old man is. Tried to touch a sorrow sneak to somewhere. Matsushita gentleman eyes quickly find it. Multiplied by the voice. I would be person of the old man. You are out of here at the bottom of the white beard. There is later a little story. Do not go to anywhere. Why do not you have to listen to my story for a while? At that word, old man that was likely to go away has become glued. Old man and the awkward bitter laugh. Return to the original location. From killing people, build a house. I think this idea is a very interesting outhouse of the individual brick denominated. If you heard, is that it was finished only recently. Your building a murder is carried out from the completed was and has become your thoughts. It's truly the most you think. If not from people and be whole building. Because it is usually not live in there. However, what if you try it in reverse? Thing called criminal's trick is what I always say the opposite of common sense. Poke the people of the imaginary. In other words, it is not to use the blind spot of common sense. This time of the murder, the building of whether or not to complete, was made when racy. If there is room for Rosuru the trick, there should be precisely there. Because we have not looked. Not really specific that where copper was. However, we do not just say the principle. While the wall of that outhouse is not to Kageotoko, all assume that you've completed the doors in windows. Then, over the key from the door, down the yoke, the windows fit the iron joint stock. Put a latch on the glass door. However, a hole enough to go out of human beings as love is still in the wall. And criminal escape through the hole in the brick from the outside. May block the hole. This is also one of the idea, because it is the order is not in the architecture of the system. It pokes the surprise of the people. Quote, at that time, also is a little while ago a forensic cane doing magamago the mouth. Because looked for likely out something nice. Gentlemen and won it by hand. You know that you are about your asharo. It is to talk about the future. Method I would like now. Does not apply in the case of this time. Why say, the wall is not only a brick. Indoor on the side. Then you yes and plaster painted from the top of the brick. Also, there is a koshabari of the plate. From the criminal is to go out. Be crafted of such inside. Cannot be so. So, in the case of a turn, this method is not to be excluded. So, whether there is any way to the other, it has a really simple way. You can also sakania also a bricklayer. Keep in leaving it only one person. It causes the work after the murder. Anywhere work, it is the job to fit the window of iron enshrinement. As you can see, before fitting the iron joint stock is going to do murder. And, the criminal run away from the window. At that time, window glass door of the latch is not yet applied. Then hada, criminal because craftsman in a various to show the corpse. Leave covered with a kind of sheets on top of the corpse before the escape. Then, tied a thick thread somewhere in the sheets. And ashamed of the yarn. In a location such as grasp if reach out his hand from the outside of the window. I prefer a little tied. It does not matter in connection with the glass door latch. Well, once out of the window, close the glass door, and then you make fit the iron joint stock called craftsman. If you listen, because is that the iron rod of Confucius, it is buried deep in the cement one by one. I not do the work of the cement coating. Then, iron joint stock is completed. After the craftsman returned, opens the glass door of the window from the outside, pulling the grip of a little while ago of the yarn, resulting in a drawer to the outside sheets. Then, the latch of the glass door in advance by raising the from quietly close the door, and knock strongly outside of the latch. The latch is falling in the received gold and its sound is not that it is locked the door. With the cement that was placed in a drying agent, you thirst in 1 day, and 2, if goes the incident from standing for 3 days, because the entire building is the new, where the does not discern whether the finished last this if anywhere I am quite sure that I will not unreasonable place. How about, this is just an example, but I said that it's possible such a method, then, you may add my name and other only. It was now assumptions. Doing murder in the room. But if you offender to escape to the outside, is that conceivable vice versa? Advance outdoors keep doing the murder. When the percentage of completion just appropriate of, after the craftsman returned, the corpse, speaking in this example, is a way of bringing through the window into the room. In this case, the addition of points, you all the same order as before. That I would like to say of me, this is just so everyone and rude. Gentlemen that Matsushita, wherein carefully to bow, as it passes through the between the people who have been taken aback, and walk toward the gate. Upon exiting the gate, the other side is Ichimachi, old man Taniguchi, wearing a black suit of Sunsuru tennis, is going to walk to trot to restlessly looked. Old man, unawares. He had escaped from between the garden of the people. Matsushita gentleman pursued then as galloping, was approached to quickly old man. I was still run away. There as though I had to say. Hung a voice from behind, old man looked back on as the scaring. Oh, you a little while ago of the gentleman. Sheer backroom useless even. awaited behind closed doors trick also. Since I had completely ceased cracking, words of the gentleman became suddenly cursory. What I hope. Old man has a blank look. Lol lol. Your play is its mon good. But is that a little while ago of corpses dat fake? The other by now, but time that bail in the hospital. For example, what you say. That corpse is fake. Old man's appearance was really surprised. Lol lol. I surprised to do is. Hey, old man, why do not you take the longer the beard? For example, the beard? You to try to shear it buckareo still. Gentleman suddenly and jumped to the old man. A white mustache and beard. Had musherido. Then, it had appeared from under it. Surprisingly, was a homicide company managing director. Zura positive crying out likely frown Sahara. Sahara-kun, also you of the truly, I was fairly botched. But in the Sahara, whether it is who this gentleman is still decision did not stick. In your Anta is who on earth? I asked in a pitiful voice. I do not know. I'm me. This mustache and I think that there is no glasses. Look. You know. I look good. Oof 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 oof. The back of the back. Duna sorrow of Anta disguise. Hitena, so much better I do not know, but small man of Sahara are doing crackling the eyes glare likely. Lol lol. I do not know, you know, but lawyers say so. Remove the glasses. And removing the mustache. Was might be out a month painted in face. And is because the matter Sagawa Shunde this is. Sahara's accountants such as even been because at a fox, had just stare of the stunned opponent. Try to talk slowly somewhere. Better of me, because I have a thing to get yet. Shunde Sagawa of Kageotoko is. The balance 3 million yen of the initiative fee. He is trying to still Tori Agio. Even the better of one. Eagle. Sometimes you want to hear. Oh, there is a forest of shrine to Asko. Let's talk in that. This kind of story. It's from Dangerous in the Inner. Just around the corner. There is a shrine of the deep forest the two of. Like a friend of good friends. Side by side shoulder. Walked into the forest. Enough is intense very well. You also Pearl River over. Small man of Sahara is. And sit down to the roots of a large oak. I sat down. There is also the orientation Kageotoko. Integral. Were not happening. Unfortunately, I do not know yet the eagle. It was fairly full Kawasa. When the Sahara says in a strange look on her face. Kageotoko while laughing grinning. It began an explanation. In the Tokyo port boat. I had to show a pistol to each other. Is that you have a Colt of 25 caliber? Knew from before. So, but I also got the same Colt. Whether it is or exactly the same type. I was sure at that time. Then, evening during this period, when you have been asked. He had been quietly substituted secretly with a pistol of your pocket. Edge swap was? Since when? This was surprised. You're a magician. It's magician. Am I such Yawatari? Because it is above all important magic is what I learned about the experts. That's why. First shot of the pistol, which was allowed slipped to your pocket was a color ball. After that but live ammunition. Because I was going to die in one shot. So I was good. Also examine the Kimi made after pistol. All that is left because everyone live ammunition. Surely the first device since my notice and only one shot was a color ball. The color of marvel at the face of the small man Sahara appeared. It's terrible courage. When you shot the eagle as if 2 shots me, you were really dead. Lol lol. There is collapse opponent in psychology is 1 shot. When it is no longer move. The 2 shot first is something you do not shoot. Culprit is that to make a sound. From fear badly. You were in a pistol that had been substituted secretly of me. Shot me. That what you shoot is. Knew perfectly. So, I'd been prepared in the blood glue of play. And you can shoot a pistol. While collapsed immediately, smearing the blood glue on his face. Disguised as pistol was hit in the face. Quote, be heard up there, the Sahara did not go is still exhibition. I mean, wait a minute. It's funny. Had fallen in front of the eagle eyes. Was you certainly. However, eagle that time. The tried to touch the heart, but took also the pulse of the wrist. Both had stopped completely. Eagle going confirmed without Nukari. But that it come back to life would be as nothing to be considered. Quote, some of magic, edge or pulse that stops in magic. The stop the heart is difficult. So, I'm in a shirt. He had been against a plate of plastic in which the breast of the form. That way, I do not feel the bead even touched. Towards the wrist plastic we cannot put the. This is across the hard rubber ball of about a little larger than a ping pong ball to the armpit that using the method or doing magician from the old days. And held against the arm of the inside of the artery. A jerk it's tightening with. Then, from there would stop the pulse of the previous hand. Nanti Miseru to stop for a moment of between pulse. But that there is no divided. Well, I did not know that there is such a hand. Truly Nikimi S.A. Kageotoko. In between the eagles kept covered with a rather too of carcasses. And make a phone call to the fellow. I got up unconcernedly is. Or why I was changed into a corpse of another genuine. What is your scheming? Because we knew perfectly from the time when there was showed a pistol on the sea. From among the corpses for the experiment of the medical university. I'm close to the elderly. Not stolen a thing of the back cuckoo. Bricks of study and hid into the thicket of trees near the. This more of corpses. Really hurt to face. In the full of blood. It therefore had been dressed my clothes. You were cheated successfully. Sahara was a countenance that was finally withstand sensitive. No match Caga there to you like a magician. From the first place of beginning. Eagle guess I've been beaten. Is the better of the eagle. Let plans of the perfect crime to you itself the victim. Can that you plan that tried to kill himself. But I did come up with a hand that was drastic. You can quickly be guessed it. Had prepared the back of the means of the back. I prefer the eagle admit that the bottom was shallow. But, eagle s not lost yet. The back of the back. And I do not might be behind it. Quote, small man of Sahara is in the wrinkled face throughout laughed and grinning. Kageotoko saw his expression. I thought gone was. But did hand involuntarily in the pocket. Pistol did not have. I tried to stand up. But it was too late. From behind. Sturdy arm has been wrapped around the new and neck. Behind a tree. He was hiding an enemy of the other alone. To be continued. Thank you for your viewing. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.